Okay, hopefully you finished the previous test. I'm not sure if we can finish it all in one lesson, but regardless, we have to cover this topic. It's the last bit. Before we can move out of this chapter or do anything interesting, one thing I've been not telling you is how does like a quadratic equation looks like. Obviously, every equation comes with a shape. Like linear equation is going to be a straight line, and then, x is equal to a number, is going to be either a horizontal line or something like that, or a vertical line. So that's the last thing we have to do. What does like a quadratic equation looks like? At least you get to know this before we talk about the very last topic. So I'm just going to use the 3 examples we used earlier. Let me write this down because I don't want to keep going back and forth. So the first equation I have is x squared minus 2x equal 3 minus 3. Second equation is x squared minus 6x plus 9. And the last one is going to be x squared plus 3x plus 3. Okay. So we'll go to our most useful website, which is going to be decimal, and okay, I'll do a new one. So when we want to test or we want to see the diagram for this, we may just want to put it in decimal. Y is equal to x squared. So x squared minus 2x minus 3. Okay, so that is our first example. Alright, so that's how it looks like. It kind of looks like a U over there. Let's test the second one. Y is equal to x squared minus 6x plus 9. So the green one is our second one, and let's just do one for the very last one. Y is equal to x squared plus 3x plus 3. There you go, very colorful. So if you look at that 3 equations, the blue one is the very first equation, x squared minus 2x minus 3. The green one is x squared minus 6x plus 9, while the very last one is x squared plus 3x plus 3. All 3 of them, they look very similar, don't they? They all have this U shape going on. So just in case, let's just look at more. I can just pick a random one. It's one of the worksheets that is for you guys. Let's do this x squared. So it's 112 negative 28. So let's try this 112 negative 28. So y is equal to x squared plus 12 minus 28. Oops, that's not. It's x minus 28. That's going to be my purple one. I am zooming out, and you can see that. Again, it's going to happen like that. Let's see if I can pick another one, and just hopefully I can demonstrate another scenario. Really? Okay, this will do. Negative 7, negative 15. Y is equal to negative 7 x squared minus 15x. Let's just get rid of some of this. We don't need to see all of this. Hopefully you can see this. Let's turn it red. The shape is upside down U. I can just randomly create some. Just make sure you see the picture. 4x squared minus 7x plus 6 as an example. Orange. So you can see the orange one is upside down U. So the reason why I'm showing you this is your quadratic equation, it should be looking like either a U shape or upside down U shape. Okay, the U shape we normally call that is a concave up, while the upside down U we call that the concave down. But as far as terminology goes, it's not a really big deal. You just need to know what it looks like. Okay, quadratic equation, it will look either looks like this or looks like that. Okay, nothing crazy about it. It's just a U or upside down U. So that comes to our last topic. Because when we were doing these 3 questions, we noticed that this one is giving me 2 answers. This one is giving me 1. Well, the last one is giving me no answer whatsoever. I want to show you what that means on diagram. So we are going back to the very first 3 equations. What I want you to pay attention to is this line. Y is equal to 0. Let's make it another color. Let's make it purple or something. So I want you to pay attention to this line right over there. So if you actually adjust this, you see x squared minus 2x minus 3, we have equal to y, right? So, and I'm saying that y is equal to 0. So y is equal to 0. So this is how we solve that. If you go back, that's how we solve it. We have that equal to 0. We have that equal to 0. We also have that equal to 0. That's how we solve quadratic equation anyway. Basically what we are saying graphically is, I'm going to draw a line that is a quadratic equation. I'm going to draw the y is equal to 0. I want to see where my equation is going to intersect with my y is equal to 0. So for the very first one, the one we actually had 2 answers, pay attention to how many points we are going to intersect. 2. So that's why we have 2 answers. Because when my line x squared minus 2x minus 3 is going to intersect my y is equal to 0, I will have 2 intersect points. Therefore, I have 2 answers. Forget about that one. For the one that's in green, which is the second one, when we solve that, we got to 1 answer. The reason for that is this diagram, this graph, really just touch your x is equal to 0 once. Okay, it's right over there. 3, 0. That's the only point it's gonna touch. And therefore, we have only 1 answer. And the final diagram, we said there's no solution. And it sounds odd. How can you have no solution? The reason why you do not have solution is because this graph is a little bit farther away than my y is equal to 0. I wanted to cut this line, but obviously it's above that. And basically that's the reason why some of the quadratic equation will have 2 answers, some of them will have 1, some of them will have 0. There are only 3 scenarios over there, alright? So, how can we check it easily? Like, obviously you don't want to graph this every single time. I know you have your decimal with you, but it may not be something you want to do. There's actually a very simple way to check this. So let's talk about the very last topic. It's called the discriminant. The discriminant is actually the bit with the whole quadratic equation. The discriminant is that thing within the square root. Within the square root. So that part, the b squared minus 4ac, is going to tell you whether you're going to get 2 solutions, 1 solution, or no solution whatsoever. So don't have the square root over there because that's not the discriminant. Discriminant is just the b squared minus 4ac. So let's just grab one of the example we did earlier. X squared minus 2x minus 3, that's our beginning 1. And so we want to test whether we have 2 solutions, 1 solution, or no. So we are going to grab the b. It's going to be negative 2. Let's just do a, b, c, all of them. Let's practice. A, b, and c is going to be negative 3. And I want to test the discriminant. It's called b squared minus 4ac. So it's going to be negative 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 3. We basically would do exactly the same thing as we were solving this. So we have 4. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, negative 3, positive 12, 16. Now, this number is going to tell us whether you have two solutions or not. So, the rules is, if you find the discriminant b squared minus 4ac, there are only 3 ways to go. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Only 3 ways to go. First one, if this is greater than 0, then you have 2 solutions. The reason for that is, if the discriminant is greater than 0, when you square root that, then you can still do the plus or minus for the rest of the quadratic formula. So you'll have 2 solutions. Then, equal to 0. Let's say the example we did earlier, they had like square root of 36 minus 36. That thing we're trying to just 0 on its own, you have 1 solution. Last, if it is less than 0, so your answer is less than 0, then you have no solution. So that would be the scenario where your diagram is above the x-axis. It's not cutting the x-axis, and therefore you have no solution. Alright, so this is actually very simple. Before you can do anything, before you're going to do, let's say, the quadratic formula, you may want to check the discriminant first and see if there's going to be any solution whatsoever. You don't want to spend 10 minutes on it and realize, oh, apparently this is a negative number. I'm going to get no solution anyway, right? So let's just test a couple of these. So find the value of the discriminant. So question like this, they're asking you to first, you're going to do the b squared minus 4ac. Second, determine the number of real solutions. Okay, so basically real solution is, do I get 2, do I get 1, or none? So I have to answer that. Determine whether the equation can be factored. Now this, I'll explain that over here as well. Basically, if there's no solution, then you cannot factor. So basically, it's the same question. It's not really a big deal. I'm not going to go crazy about this one. I'm just gonna focus on the first 2. So let's say I want to find the discriminant over here. B is going to be negative 6 square minus 4 times 3 and 4. So I should get a 36. So this is going to be a negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Negative 12, 48. So 36 minus 48 is going to be a negative number. Definitely negative 12. So that is smaller than 0. If it's smaller than 0, then there's no solution and it cannot be factored. Alright. So all of these are just practice. Let's say let's pick question 6 because it looks a little bit more difficult. So in this case, my A is, let's write this out, negative 7, B is negative 15, and C is just going to be 0. So my discriminant is going to be negative 15 squared. That's going to be a big number though. Minus 4 times my negative 7 times 0. Oh well, that's not too bad, because this is going to go into 0, so I have just negative 15 squared. Negative 15 squared is just going to be 15 squared, which is 225, I think. So in this scenario, it's greater than 0, so for that one, we'll have 2 solutions. Okay, so this is actually a last bit. It's really not that difficult, but basically it gives you a very easy way to see if you have any solutions or not. Most of the time you have solution because they want you to carry on with the process. However, some questions, I think possibly in SAT or something, they will just ask you if something has like a solution or not. And in that scenario, if you have only like A, B, and C to choose, it makes your life much easier than calculate the whole thing and then realize there's no real solution or there's gonna be one. So discriminant is very useful to check if there's any solution or not. And this is the end of this. As far as quadratic equation go, that's how much I want you guys to know. And if you're in geometry, if you know this, then the scale factor will not be too much of a problem anymore, because now you have a sure way to solve your equation, that is quadratic formula. And I don't know what I'm gonna do with this very last part. Possibly I have a quiz for it, but maybe not. I do not know. You'll find that out. I'm going to figure it out now. Bye for now.